Another big topic, man. I don't think we can show any clips related to this, but we're definitely going to talk about it, man. The young Dolph murder trial is currently underway. Star witness Cornelia Smith has apparently confirmed that Yo Gotti's brother, Big Juk, paid for the hit on young Dolph. Allegedly, that's what he's alleging, okay? And apparently, CMG, the cocaine music group, or I think they changed it to the creative music group when things got a little bit hot, they are paying for the lawyer after he got arrested. Now, Big Juk is Yo Gotti's brother. He unfortunately lost his life after a funeral in Memphis last year. But the question a lot of people are asking is, do you think Yo Gotti will eventually be picked up over this crime? But even more importantly, I don't know if anybody's seen, but the actual surveillance footage of the shooting of young Dolph has been released in the trial. It was incredibly sad, man. Big fan of young Dolph. And to see the way that he went out, I thought it was just super tragic. So I just want to know if you guys are tapped in with the trial, what you think of the whole Yo Gotti situation. And, it seems like there's definitely some telling going on, man.
Definitely some telling. We watching it in 4K. Cornelius, he done took the stand, or he done snitched. Like, we literally, even his girlfriend snitched on him. Like, I seen her today or yesterday. She literally giving up the location and saying everything what she was told to do, and she throwing him underneath the bus.
So she's cooperating.
She's 100% cooperating. She's not showing her face, but like there's news clips of her literally right there. Up, scroll up.
Oh, which one?
To the right. Right there.
They have
that's one of the girlfriends. I think Cornelia Smith, that's his girlfriend. And she linked up with them right after they did it. And she's on here just spilling the beans, giving out all the information she knows. We can listen to this right quick if you want.
Let's check this out.
The Mazda CX-5 has
We're giving some free promo. Who wants to buy a Mazda, man?
more to inspire you. More.
Hernandez-Govan's trial has wrapped. A shorter day than day one, but the witnesses who were called to the stand gave shocking testimonies. Action News 5's Imani Williams is following the trial gavel to gavel. She has the latest from inside the courtroom today.
Shocking testimony on day 2 of Hernandez-Govan's trial. The link between Govan and Cornelia Smith, one witness says, is Yo Gotti's brother. Angela Arnold, the girlfriend of Cornelius Smith, the man who says he was one of the 2 shooters that killed rapper Young Dolph, took the stand. Day 1 of the trial, tension between PRE and CMG was established. Day 2, Arnold said Anthony Juk Mims was the top of the chain when it came to the bounty on Dolph, owner of the record label PRE. Juk was the number 2 at CMG and Yo Gotti's brother.
He said it came from Juk. Juk being who? Because we want to make sure we're talking about the same Juk. Unfortunately, there's more than one Juk. CMG meaning Yo Gotti's brother, Juk?
Yeah. This, a big turning point in the second day of the trial. Multiple people took the stand. Arnold, a Tennessee Bureau of Investigation agent, a retired MPD investigator who was the lead on the Young Dolph homicide investigation, and a current MPD sergeant in the gang unit. The defense questioned if Juk was ever investigated before he was killed.
They talked about Mr. Govan here. They talked about Juk, and we can quibble about who's in charge or whose house or who whatever. But clearly, Juk was a suspect in this case.
Yes.
But he was never followed up with at all by Memphis Police Department at any point in this investigation, even though he died 2.5 years later.
Cell phone data took up a large portion of the second half of the day. The prosecution asked one detective who was talking to who the most when you look at the data.
Would they communicate more to Govan than with each other?
I think that it started as a lot of communications between Govan, but as you saw, as it gets closer to the day of the homicide, those communications then seem to be more between Cornelius Smith and Justin Johnson, and not Govan.
Now we're headed to day 3, and witness testimony on both sides could wrap up on Wednesday. Reporting downtown, Imani Williams, Action News 5.
Now, Action News 5 has been...
So, yeah, it's a lot of telling going on. Even the main shooter, he didn't snitch and said what he said. One interesting thing is, so basically the guy, Donovan Gavin, they're trying to like basically give him they're trying to say he's the guy that orchestrated this whole thing or whatever. But on top of that, there's a whole bunch of messages from Big Juk, where Big Juk was supposed to pay the money for the hit. And he was actually never charged before he died for this. So it's a little interesting. I don't know where it was gonna go, but I've been keeping up with everything from this trial through Seti Nash's page. So if y'all don't know who Seti Nash is, make sure y'all go on YouTube and go look at Seti Nash's page.
Tap into the
He definitely is every day he gonna have an update for y'all, and he's doing like good coverage of this. What you think, Ross? What do you know about what's going on, and how you think this is all gonna play out?
Man, I've been covering this for a little while, just here and there. I'm going to do a big deep dive into the whole case once the trial is over. I know a lot of people have been waiting for that. I think it's been pretty clear that like the beef between Young Dolph and Yo Gotti has been just going on for years now. Obviously, there was the famous incident where they shot up his truck 100 times. I think it was in Charlotte, funnily enough. I don't know if Zone knows anything about that situation that went down.
And they had an altercation outside the hotel in L.A. It's been a lot of altercations they slick had. Even Yo Gotti, he got shot at recently, not recently, but it was a lot of altercations that happened besides the 100-shot shit. But keep going, my fault.
Yeah, I think they've been having a beef for a long time, and at the end of the day, bro, like, it doesn't take a genius to see that these were two rival groups over there that wanted each other dead, and unfortunately, they caught up with Young Dolph and he lost his life. I think it is unfortunate that Big Jook lost his life. Obviously, he was gunned down after a funeral, and that was a very public assassination, and it was very obvious that was some kind of revenge for what happened to Young Dolph. The guys in the street would rather leave it in the street and get revenge that way. I think it is a little bit unfair for the family and friends of Young Dolph to not see Big Jook actually get his real justice in court. They're putting these charges on Cornelia Smith, but really the big fish right now is Yo Gotti, and it's highly possible that he's insulated himself enough from the case, from the street business, to basically not be implicated himself. He's not been, specifically named in this trial as far as like being a defendant. He's kept himself out of it, but at the same time, I've no doubt that there's people in the streets that basically, over there that just might want to be taking Yo Gotti out. I'm sure his security budget is through the roof.
Man, through the roof.
Man, because I'm sitting here thinking, like, what's going on with Yo Gotti? So he's not, he's obviously implemented into the trial, but they're not really saying too much. So, like, there's not going to be any charges brought forth or anything?
There wasn't even no charges brought forth towards Big Jook, and his name got mentioned on a hell of a lot in the trial. Like, before he was killed, he was never even charged with any of this. So, Gotti
I
got to
give it to him. They sending the kites. That he sending the kites, and he, bro, I ain't gonna lie. He kind of, I ain't gonna say. He kind of remind me of Yo Gotti. Remind me of Mozzie, bro.
Word.
I ain't gonna lie. I can see why he signed the dude. They move real strategic and militant.
Yeah, when I see Angela Simmons and Yo Gotti break out, I'm like, oh yeah, she must think something going down. Cause at one point there was like the big couple that everybody was happy about, and then
they broke up, right?
That shit went sour.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of street shit going behind the scenes. And Angela Simmons, like, we watched her grow up on TV.
Yeah, and her dad.
So, like, ain't no way she finna be involved with that type of shit. So she got on out of there. But as far as, like, Dolph, if you notice, like, Gotti has been quiet as fuck. Like, he's keeping it strictly music. He ain't even been dropping that much music. He just signed Zillionaire, though. Shout out to Zillionaire. Like, he still got the roster going crazy. But, yeah, I don't know. This is interesting how it's going to play out. They're trying to make Gavin the mastermind behind this, when in reality, I think it was Big Jook. I don't know if y'all want me to call Seti Nash. He could probably give more information on this because he's literally been watching everything. I haven't caught up with what's going on from yesterday and today as much, but I don't know how much y'all seen.
So with Young Dolph and Yo Gotti, like, what was it? Wasn't it just because, like, Young Dolph went and signed to Yo Gotti? Wasn't the beef stemming from that? Like, it wasn't, like, anything, like, it wasn't, like, relating to, like, like, gang politics, right?
Well, there's a couple kind of dueling narratives about this, right? Because on the one hand, on the industry side, allegedly Gotti wanted to sign Dolph to his label. Dolph didn't want to do that. He wanted to get his own thing going. He got Paper Route Empire going. There was obviously a lot of jealousy, and then there was a very famous diss song. I think it's called "Don't Play with Me, Play with Your Bitch," where Young Dolph went crazy dissing Yo Gotti and said that he'd slept with his baby mama and that he didn't want to sign to him and called him out. I listened to that song again the other day when I was driving, and I was just like, damn, like Dolph really cooked Yo Gotti. Like, this is definitely some fighting talk on this song. But then in addition to that, there was this rumor that Young Dolph had signed, a young street cat from Memphis that was involved in a whole other gang war in a younger generation, and that really it's this war between Double R and True La Mafia that's kind of connected to the whole Yo Gotti, but it's like a younger generation of guys that were beefing, and, Dolph kind of inserted himself into that by signing a guy that was really in the streets, and it just, all of this mixy stuff got mixed up and culminated in that shooting that he lost his life in, man. So the streets do get really treacherous out there, man.
100%. And a lot of that shit you said, I heard a lot of that shit too. And on top of that, you gotta understand, Dolph was going around Memphis performing that song, getting paid the bag. And think about when you think of Memphis, for the most part, at one point, all we thought about was Gotti. So this was Gotti's first time having a taste of competition. And then on top of that, they didn't want to sign to me. Then he got a diss song. He buzzing around. So I don't know. It got tricky behind the scenes. And
Sounds
unfortunately,
egotistic.
it do sound like some ego shit, but half the time, like it's more than just a nigga didn't sign to you though. Put it like that. It's always some more underlying that go on. Like, nigga
that's
didn't.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, so
it has to be more sinister.
I see this post going around on Reddit. It basically says the man who was accused of killing young Dolph said that after hearing Yo Gotti's brother had put a 100K hit on any artist from Dolph's label, they didn't care who they were going to catch, but it just so happened that they caught young Dolph as the head honcho of the label, which just goes to show you how crazy and how ruthless they were being. They were basically saying, yo, we want to kill anyone from Paper Route. Like, anybody from the label, we'll take anybody, and it could have been young Dolph, could have been Key Glock, could have been these younger guys involved in the streets. And unfortunately, I think that one of the saddest things from this is, like, we saw young Dolph getting killed at this cookie shop. I think he was with his brother, but, like, he rolling around in cars with custom wraps, people knowing what cars he drives. Like, realistically, no disrespect, but he probably wasn't moving as militant as he should have been in those streets.
Especially with the rap car.
That's why. I interviewed Kenny Money the other day. He signed the Paper Route Empire, like been around Dolph, and that's what I was talking to him about the other day. I'm like, so how normal is it for Dolph just to be riding around in the car that people know him for? And he said that was regular for Dolph. And it so happened that the dudes, Cornelius Smith and then Justin Johnson, like they broke down. Like one of the dudes, Cornelius, he's been snitching and shit, and he just said they just so happened to run into Dolph. Like they just driving around and just happened to see the car.
Didn't they say that Dolph wasn't in like a area he wasn't supposed to be in type shit?
No, he was.
Like he was familiar with that area.
He's familiar with that area. Yeah, so he felt comfortable being there. That's why he's riding around. But it just also goes to show you that like just riding around looking for.
Yeah.
So just waking up like on time and then
on that,
and then just happened to see in the car and then that same car wrap, like you recognize like, oh, that's Dolph, and they made it easy. But that's
all
what I'm
his
saying.
cars was wrapped there.
But my thing is like, if you know and you got all this motion or going on in this, why would you make it that easy? Like you making it way too easy for the spot. That was crazy to me. It's like you made it way too easy for to spot you if you got all this going on. I would never be in a car that everyone knows.
Right. No, I agree, and I feel like he for sure should have been moving more militant. It's just a tragic situation though, because when you think about like the backstory is like, was it that deep? Did it have to get that deep? If there wasn't any bloodshed prior
To it, right?